Oh, here we go. Another Tuesday night, which means another night of NXT. We got one man pissed off, looking to take down the man who lost to Jeff Hardy in 2 minutes. That's right, we don't forget. We got the continuation of the NXT Breakout Tournament. And while two factions are starting to go to war with each other, it looks like one faction is splitting apart. Dang it, come on family. But my name is Jordan Moser. We're gonna run through it all. This is your NXT recap and review. We see the main crux of the show, Samoa Joe looking for Karrion Kross. He's trying to give those repercussions for last week. Joe got attacked after that NXT Championship match, and he is ready to wring the homie's neck. He comes out at the beginning of the show, pissed off, looking for Kross. Mr. Regal tries to come out, calm him down a little bit, like, hey bro, you are management, you are chill here. You cannot come out here calling out superstars, trying to start some funny business. I'm not gonna allow that. You better do this peacefully. And Joe was like, nah bro, he provoked me. We had a deal, we had an understanding. And so what's gonna happen is when he gets here, I'm gonna put him to sleep pretty much. And he was out there waiting, boy, right at the front door, just hoping that Karrion Kross show up. He attacks an actually innocent bystander that pulled up in a car as well, so that was pretty funny. But we do see at one more plea at the end of the show, Samoa Joe's like, Kross, where you at, baby? Come on now. Kross shows up on the Titantron screen. He's like, bro, I'm the NXT champion. I don't cater to you. I don't capitulate to you. I do what I want and I hurt who I want. And then he kind of cameras down and we see Mr. Regal just laid out on the ground in the parking lot. Karrion Kross goes ahead and he leaves and drives off as Samoa Joe is getting right out there and he can't do anything about it as the show goes off the air. But my God, I am loving this Kross and Samoa Joe feud. I don't need Kross on my screen the entire time just talking or anything like that. It was short and it was sweet, and then he went off and I was like, yes, that's what we need. Let Samoa Joe carry the talking part, the aggression part, everything like that. This feud has been done perfectly so far. I'm assuming that this is going to take place at the takeover that was announced for Sunday the 22nd. I'm looking forward to that. Don't know how that match is going to specifically go or how the outcome will specifically go, but I am looking forward to just the build for that matchup and just everything that has been going on so far. So this was pretty incredibly done throughout the duration of the show. We see our first matchup of the night, Tyler Rust and Roderick Strong of the Diamond Mine going up against the Cruiserweight champion Kushida and Bobby Fish. We see a pre-match brawl kind of kick things off before we go into that commercial break, and we come back. The action is physical, very fun tag team match. I really like the four styles of each man just kind of meshing together. I really like the chemistry that they all had. We see at one point a very nice move that I like. Kushida just going for that jumping arm breaker, is caught by Roderick Strong and then put into that back breaker, and that kind of led to the Diamond Mine kind of taking control at the beginning of this matchup. We see later on Bobby Fish has become the Diamond Mine's plaything in the ring until he reverses that. He gets Kushida into the matchup and he is coming in hot, boy, just throwing it lefts and rights. He finally at one point gets Tyler Rust all to himself, kicks him in that arm, and then gets that hoverboard lock on, and he taps out almost immediately. It's the win for the Cruiserweight champion Kushida and Bobby Fish. They kind of continue. This is the first real kind of dent in the Diamond Mine that we've seen, so we're going to see how they react to that in the next couple weeks. But yeah, very interesting. I love Kushida and Bobby Fish just kind of teaming up together. Kushida looked like he hasn't missed a beat, even though he's been off TV for a little while, so I was loving him just kind of getting back into the flow of things. But yeah, very fun tag team match nonetheless, and looking forward to see how the feuds kind of progress a little bit later on. The next matchup was a little competitive, if not short. We saw Frankie Monet going up against Jacy Jayne. Very nice babyface performance from Jacy Jayne. Definitely with her in-ring style and her look, I can definitely see her doing big things in the future. But it was not to come in this matchup. We see the end, Frankie Monet just going in with a nice couple of clubbing blows, and we see her hit that glam slam for the 1, 2, 3 and the win. But we do see in the middle of this matchup, Jesse Kamea was down in the ring. We see Robert Stone come to the ring as well to just try to stake his claim into what Frankie Monet is doing. That's an added wrinkle. We also see Mandy Rose, who came back last week, also just come through and watch. She laid on the announce table and she was watching and scouting, sure, that's what they kind of called it. And then at the end of the matchup, she disappeared. She was gone. I don't know if the commentary team just didn't see her walk away or what, but she just disappeared. And I was like, all right, cool, I guess. But yeah, those added wrinkles very made not too much of an interesting kind of dent in what was going on, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of happens in the next couple of weeks. So we haven't really known why Mandy Rose is back in this capacity, but I guess we'll find out eventually. So yeah, very interesting matchup, nice performance by both women, but not really a lot going on here. Next up, we got the match of the night. In my opinion, we saw Austin Theory going up against Kyle O'Reilly, a matchup kind of spurred from a confrontation earlier on in the evening. We do see Austin Theory matching Kyle O'Reilly a lot, especially in the first half of this matchup, just matching a move for move pretty much. He's not really letting Kyle O'Reilly let up or really get in control or anyway. That kind of leads into picture-in-picture. We come back, Kyle O'Reilly does start to make a little bit of a dent, but Austin Theory is there just matching him really at every point, just taking it to him. He's really been impressive in singles matchup, even though he doesn't win any of them, which we kind of understandable, of course, because he's going up against bigger names. But he's definitely been doing this thing a lot, talking about Austin Theory. We do see the end of this matchup as they're fighting outside the ring. Austin Theory goes for the steel steps and lifts them up, and then the camera pans, and Kyle O'Reilly just has these crazy eyes, like crazy eyes, just ready to tear Austin Theory apart. He just goes at him outside the ring, throwing him against the barricade and the steps, gets him back in the ring, beats him up a little bit more. He goes up top, he hits that leg drop. You think he's going for the head as he usually does, but he goes right for the knee of Austin Theory, and at this point he locks in that knee bar, and Austin Theory cannot help but tap out almost immediately. So that is a win for Kyle O'Reilly after just a crazy kind of like last 2 minutes where he just kind of went off for the most part. But yeah, very fun matchup. Austin Theory continues to impress, as does Kyle O'Reilly, just getting that momentum going into his match with Cole, preferably at TakeOver, probably at TakeOver. So just looking forward to that in the next couple of weeks. We do see Theory in kind of an added wrinkle later on as the way are kind of arguing backstage. He seems kind of fed up. He seems tired of it. His family is splitting apart, and he tries to go for the high five, and Johnny don't see it, man. He don't see it. And so Austin Theory just takes his bag and he kind of walks off, and the way didn't really even notice what was going on. But this is extremely interesting. I want to see Theory get back into singles competition with the worst in me. I want to see that, but the way splitting apart just after like months of being together all year kind of hurts. So we'll see how that kind of comes together in the next couple weeks. But yeah, I'm loving Austin Theory and everything that he's doing, but very interesting wrinkle that we kind of got in this show. Next up, we were supposed to have a mariachi musical celebration featuring Legado del Fantasma, but that did not go down. And we see Escobar saying, you, everybody, especially you don't deserve it. You didn't earn it in any way. We see him eventually start to run down Hit Row and the North American champion Isaiah Swerve Scott, just talking them down. This eventually brings out Hit Row as they talk a little bit of trash as well and kind of get under each other's skin and everything like that. We see both factions just kind of face off in the ring. They start to brawling and going at it. At one point, we see Escobar grabs a guitar left by one of the mariachi members and tries to swing on Scott. We see B-Fab grab that guitar before he can do anything with it. This allows Hit Row to pretty much end things off. They corner Joaquin Wilde and just get him with a guitar shot to the back and send Legado del Fantasma packing to end things off. But yeah, very nice stuff. I love the faction, just a little warfare going on between those two teams. Escobar and Scott are coming across as stars, and I love them for that. Just coming from like Cruiserweight championships and now fighting for that North American championship just a year later. It's a chef's kiss. I love every minute of it. So looking forward to everything that they're doing in the next couple of weeks. But yeah, very fun little faction brawl and just kind of face to face in this one. Next up, we got our next first round matchup in the breakout tournament. We got Andre Chase going up against Odyssey Jones. Odyssey Jones coming in at 405 pounds. You know how this matchup is going to go. Frankly, it was basically a squash match. We saw Chase get in a little bit of offense, definitely showed off some high flying moves, hit a nice moonsault near the end of this matchup, but Odyssey was not having it. Just very fun, very charismatic, and very high energy as well. We see him eventually win with the side slam for the 1-2-3 and the win. I would say very Mark Henry-esque just from the look that he has. Probably a little bit slower, just needs to be a little bit more refined in those areas. But very fun to watch for the most part. As a big guy, we'll definitely see how he progresses throughout the rest of the tournament and his rest of career as well, just in his refining process and everything like that. But yeah, very okay matchup, a very nice squash matchup, and just showcasing both men, especially Odyssey Jones, of course. Next up, we got what was more of an angle than a matchup, I would say. We got LA Knight going up against Drake Maverick. LA Knight, the $1 Million champion, brought Cameron Grimes, his butler, to the ringside, and we see him as he just tells Cameron Grimes to keep holding up the $1 Million championship. Let everybody see it in its glory. And as he is very many times just distracted with Cameron Grimes not holding up this title or hearing the crowd go and react to Cameron Grimes preaching to the moon and everything like that, he tells him to hold it up just one more time, and that's when Drake Maverick kicks him. Knight's head hits the title belt, and we see Drake Maverick roll him up for the 1-2-3 and the surprise and sudden victory for Drake Maverick. We see after the matchup, LA Knight is not happy with that. He goes to attack Maverick, just lays him down. Cameron Grimes tries to pull him off. He's like, hey man, the match is over. Ain't no need for all this. Ain't no need to do nothing like that. He was like, oh, nah, bro. You got it now. Like, he tells Cameron Grimes to go ahead and hit Drake Maverick. He's his butler, so he's trying to do what he tells him to do. So he says, hit Maverick, punch him in the face. I won't see you do it. And Grimes has no choice. He goes ahead and punches Maverick in the face. He is despondent, just sad about what he had to do, and Knight is loving it as he just grabs his title and walks off. Yeah, definitely more angle than matchup, I would say. Definitely a surprise win for Maverick. We don't want to see the $1 Million champion losing. That kind of negates the idea of the champion, you know. But very interesting little progression. I eventually think this will lead up to Cameron Grimes getting his matchup for that $1 Million championship once again at TakeOver. But just looking forward to everything that they're doing, and I'm loving everything that it's kind of doing right now for sure. Last up in our main event for the NXT Women's Championship, Raquel Gonzalez, the champion, defending against Zio Lee. We do see Raquel, of course, using that strength to her advantage at the beginning of this matchup, but Zio Lee coming back as well, using that speed and a little bit of spacing to kind of take control. We see her hit a nice couple of strikes and kicks to the legs as well to kind of break Raquel down a little bit. We do see later on in this matchup, as they're fighting outside the ring, this is mainly where Zio Lee takes control. Raquel misses a big boot. That allows Lee to kind of throw her legs into the ring post, just ramming those legs of Raquel into the ring post. She eventually just goes after those legs numerous times throughout the duration of the rest of the matchup, just getting on submissions, more strikes, really breaking down Raquel in a way that we haven't seen her kind of be injured as she's held that women's title. So it was very interesting to see Lee kind of break her down in that way. But we do see near the end of this matchup, as Raquel is making her comeback, she hits a nice little twisting senton off the ropes, and Zio Lee got the wind knocked out of her big time. Like, she was out. I don't know if she had a couple broken ribs or anything like that, but it looked brutal because all of Raquel's weight came down on that itty bitty little girl, and it did not look pretty. The rest of the matchup was just kind of stalled from there. Once Lee kind of recovered and was cleared, Raquel hit that Shakinga bomb for the 1-2-3 and the win. She retains that NXT Women's Championship. Yeah, very awful way to kind of end the matchup, but it was a matchup nonetheless. Very just a okay main event, I would say. Didn't really have a lot of action going on even before the injury happened. I really thought at one point, because we had got little teases throughout the night, that Dakota Kai might be turning on Raquel tonight because she's kind of looking to hold that NXT Women's Championship herself. It didn't come to be on this one, but I definitely expect her to be the challenger come TakeOver for Raquel Gonzalez. I am looking forward to that. I love Dakota Kai. I want to see her get those opportunities to shine. So looks like they're going to be hopefully breaking up a little bit soon. I love that they're a tag team and that they love each other and all that, but definitely I think they both can do very well on their own as well and very serviceable. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just very okay and kind of interesting main event, I would say. And that is going to be it. All in all, very interesting episode of NXT from an in-ring standpoint with what you expect with that tag team matchup at the beginning of the show, as well as Austin Theory and Kyle O'Reilly breaking things down as well. But a lot of angle furthering matchups on the show, I would say, which means they weren't really very exciting matchups to watch. The Cameron Grimes kind of situation, LA Knight and Drake Maverick and all that, as well as the Frankie Monet stuff, which is very passable, I would say. Also, the main event didn't help things as well, just very disappointing. disappointing before the injury and after the injury as well. But we do got TakeOver coming up in just a couple weeks here, so everything is kind of pushing and furthering towards that. I'm looking forward to everything kind of going on. A lot of the angles are going really great as well. So looking forward to these next couple of weeks. Karrion Kross and Samoa Joe. My God, this is going to be incredible. I'm going to love that. But that is going to be it from me. You will see more videos throughout the week, of course, but I am out. Peace. Enjoy yourself. Love yourself. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Everything like that, of course. I will see you soon.